Good morning out there, young world. The world is yours, and welcome to another episode of the Desire Is Everything podcast. I am one half of your host, Sam Wright. I am a creation coach. I help people create the lifestyle that they desire by introducing you to the best version of yourself. And to my right, I have.
Jason Wright, co-owner of Die Fam, co-host of Desires Everything podcast, personal development, young man just trying to get better at life, live life each and every day. That's pretty much it, man. I just, thankful for life and thankful for the journey that I'm living and the journey that I'm on right now. So,
I second that. This past Thursday, let's start off with a truth moment, right? So this past Thursday, we went to travel to Chicago to the Social Proof Melanin Money podcast tour, right? So Jason brought this to my attention months ago. We paid for the tickets, and as it got closer to that time, I'm like, man, we didn't get to get a hotel room. We didn't know where it was at. So in your mind, you're thinking that because things didn't line up the way you wanted to, you start to think, man, do I really want to do this? But again, I always enjoy spending time with my sons and my daughter. So I'm always looking forward to that. But because I was thinking too much, I was like, man, I really don't want to do this because I had to go to work that next morning, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I knew I was going to have to drive back that night. But when I tell you, we had a very, very, very good, great, awesome, amazing experience. But before I get into the details of it, I want to tell my son, I am extremely proud of you, sir.
appreciate
When I tell y'all, this man was on fire in this room. When I tell you that I can literally just sit back and see myself in him working the room, talking to everyone, commanding attention, and we're in a room with millionaires. The people that put this thing on are very successful. David Shan, his co-host Donnie, Carter and George. These are very successful people, and he was holding conversation with them as I would because I don't see people I don't let people's money influence the way I treat them or the way I interact with them. And at 20 years old, to see my son having these conversations with everybody in the room, not just them, I was extremely proud of you because it just shows that the growth that you're on a trajectory that only you can stop you. Only you can stop you. So, like I said, I was extremely proud. And like I said, by the 11 o'clock, close to midnight, I'm wore out. Been up since 2 a.m. I'm tired. I drove there, and I was at the table trying to post some stuff on social media, and I can hear this table was long. This table was probably uh
at least 30,
no
20,
wait no that's
way more,
50 to 100.
50
That
to 100
yeah,
feet.
that table was long, Jack. Because you got to say, I think they said it was 100 people in VIP.
Yeah,
So the table fit 100 people.
yeah.
He's halfway down the table. And as I'm posting, I'm at the very end of the table posting. I can hear him holding conversations with people. One time I sat up and I'm watching him. He went to go get some shirts to hand out to the host. And I actually took a moment to record. He was having a conversation with Carter and Donnie. And he's just holding a conversation with them. And at 20 years old, he knows the level they're at. But it didn't make a difference because he's growing. He knows who he is. He's embracing the experience. He's dedicated to the process of being the best version of him. So again, extremely proud of you, son.
Appreciate you. Likewise, likewise. I appreciate that a lot. Just the fact that you took the sacrifice to invest in me, and invest in us going to that event. Because like you said, we didn't know what we were getting into. It's not often that you hear about a podcast tour. That's something new, especially with podcasts just blowing up now. You don't hear people going around different cities and
Very
putting
dope
on,
idea.
yeah, putting
Very
on
dope.
live podcasts. And so that obviously was new. And then, like you said, the fact that we didn't get the address or get the place to where it was the week of.
The week of.
And I was nervous. 'Cause I'm like, man, we didn't just spend. I hope we didn't spend all this money. And then they hit us, well, the podcast tour has been canceled,
Right.
something like that. So it's like, okay, that already threw me off. But then once we got the address, cool, we locked in on the address. You drive there, and I already knew I was gonna have to drive back. But it was like I've always struggled with driving at night, and so it's like, man, I gotta drive back. But that wasn't even on my mind. The fact that we got there, we sat down, and I was just networking off the gate. Like
Out the gate.
as soon as we got into the line, I seen a dude with a camera. I'm like, all right, let me network with him. Cool, network with him. Then the dude next to me in line, network with him. Cool. Now we sitting down, we networking, talking to people, waiting for the event to get started. it's almost like a concert, but you're not there. So at a concert, I don't know who all networks at a concert. I went to my first concert, 2-3 years ago, and I didn't network. I mean, I was just there just to listen to music, listen to raw waves. So I was like, you don't network, but you're waiting on the artist, then you're waiting on whoever the artist puts on before the actual concert starts.
Opening act.
Yeah, the opening act. And so through that time, you just sitting there talking to whoever you came with or just talking to people, but you don't probably never leave there with no real information that could lead you to the next level.
No connections.
No connections. So what it was at the podcast tour, we left there with connections. If I ever want to throw an event in Chicago, I'm hitting up this dude, I'm hitting up this girl, I'm hitting up people that I met here because I know, okay, they got something going on in this state city. So let's do something for me and for us to do something for your city. So obviously networking there, but then it got to the point to where, so Carter and George went first and they brought on the real estate, a young lady who is doing real estate, which was beautiful. You know, you learn stuff on how to run your business and different tips to implement into your business. And I think that was great. But the most impactful thing for me was
okay, we jumping in. Let's go then.
Yeah. When David and Donnie got on, and David asked, "Do y'all do shows in Chicago? Or do y'all do events?
Do events in Chicago?
In Chicago."
And the thing that was so crazy about that, it shows that when you word a question one way, people might perceive it to be another way. So go ahead, I'll let you.
Yeah.
And we'll bounce back and forth.
But I feel like that was so impactful to me because, like, I've been telling people this all week. Like, I even just talked to Bass about this. But the fact that almost 70 to 80% of the room said no.
Well, again, it was the perception of the question. That first of all, they perceived the question the wrong way, and maybe it was David's wording, but he meant, are people putting on like podcast events? The room took it as events. Period. That's the way I interpreted it. Did you interpret it that way, or you interpreted it that way?
I interpreted events. Well, I interpreted events. Period.
Got you. But I think he tried to clarify that he meant podcast events. But the fact that he worded that way was better because it made people think just events plural. Go ahead.
And
in general.
Yeah, in general. So my thing is, here we are in Indianapolis, right? We didn't been to probably a handful, well, not even probably, a handful of events within these last 2 months, let alone July itself.
Plenty of events, yeah.
In Indianapolis itself. And they sit here and tell us that they ain't got no events in Chicago.
Baffling. It was
no
baffling.
Events in Chicago.
Yeah, it made no sense.
So it's like, okay, we hear that. And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, there's no way y'all don't have events in Chicago.
No way possible.
But I'm like, okay, I was once in their position to where I thought Indianapolis didn't have nothing going on. So, okay, let me sit here and listen. So then David asks, why don't y'all have events? Some people said, what was it, egos. People like to gatekeep. Fear. Real estate. They only have like a real estate events.
Access to venues.
To venues. So it's all these different
excuses.
Excuses. And no real solving.
No solutions.
No solutions.
They point out all the problems why they don't, but no one had a solution.
Literally.
So this one was messed up, right? And I noticed this out the gate. He's setting y'all up.
Facts.
Listen, people. When people ask questions they already know the answers to, you're being set up. It's like your parents, when you knew you did something wrong, your parents asked you a question. They already know the answer.
Literally.
So David already knew the answer when he asked, do y'all have events? Why don't y'all have events? Go ahead.
And so to piggy off what you said, he already knew the answer. You can't tell me David Shands ain't never been to Chicago, ain't never been to an event in Chicago to where he don't think y'all got events.
Let's say he hasn't. He still knows better.
Yeah. Like, dude,
it's Chicago.
He lives in Atlanta, and I guarantee you Chicago and Atlanta are doing something together. I guarantee you he's been in Chicago multiple times and been to events. Yeah. But the question, the problem is he hasn't seen any of y'all faces there. So that's where the question comes in. Does Chicago have events? Why or why not? So then, like I said, you get these excuses, ego, gatekeeping, but it's all simple-minded excuses. So, like I said, a couple months ago, I was in the same boat to where I thought Indianapolis didn't have nothing going on. But the problem was I wasn't exposing myself to it. So when people were sitting here saying it was egos, gatekeeping, that's only in your circle. That's only how far
Your environment.
in your environment
Mm-hmm.
where you place yourself at. But I guarantee you, if you just go to Eventbrite, networking events in Chicago.
Facebook events.
Literally, I just probably joined like 3 Facebook groups last night just off of let alone networking events in Indianapolis.
So here, I want y'all to catch this one. Your life is a reflection of your repetitive perception. Say that one more time for the cheap seats. Your life is a reflection of your repetitive perception. Meaning, the more you see something over and over again, that's how your life is going to look. So if you have yourself closed in this small area and all you see is violence, all you see is gatekeeping, all you see is venues that won't let you put on events, then of course that's what your life is going to look like. So when he asked the question, why don't y'all have events, and everybody start giving all these excuses, it's because that's what they continue to see. They haven't taken the leap. They haven't taken the drive. They haven't exposed themselves to different things. So the point that they proved with the venues or the area, we were on the north side. We were at a beautiful venue outside having a podcast. Went inside later on, open bar, dinner, beautiful place. A lot of people there were from the south side of Chicago. So it's a different look. So until you get in your car and go to the other side of town and see what's available for you to hold events or for you to be a part of the different events, then of course it's going to look like that. You got to be exposed. You have to get into different environments.
And the crazy thing is, I can attest to that because, and now as you're saying, it's like I never thought about it as south side, north side. You literally have to just go to the north side and events there. Same thing for me. I lived on the west side, but wasn't no events on the west side. So now all my events were at downtown or east side of Indianapolis.
And it's crazy when I first got in the shoe business, and I would talk to people and ask them about the different stores on different sides of town, and they'd be like, they don't know. I'm like, what you mean you don't know? It's like, we don't go over there. It's like, you don't what? Literally, no, we don't go to the east side. No, we don't go to the west side. So you don't know what's at Lafayette Square Mall? You don't know what's at Lafayette Square? You don't know what's at Washington Square Mall? No, we don't go over there. And that blew my mind. Because in South Bend, it was a small city, but I went on every side of town. When I first got here, I would go to every side of town. I don't understand how people close themselves off to the area that they're used to or the area they grew up in.
Facts.
You have to get out and be exposed to different things. So the first lesson, my main takeaway too was that people focus on the problems and not the solutions.
Man,
There's a solution to every problem.
literally.
Because believe me, if you think you got a problem, somebody has already solved that problem before. And with today's technology, there's no way you can't find that solution. Like my coach Kasudi always say, go to YouTube University. Go on Facebook. DM somebody. There's a solution to every problem. So the fact that we're in this huge city in Chicago with a room full of entrepreneurs, professionals, that they all had excuses to why they know we're not holding events or going to events in Chicago. It was baffling.
Very baffling. But like I said, I was there a couple months ago to where I thought. So I can understand it, but at some point in time, you have to defeat that mindset. You just got to.
It's like riding a bike. You fall down. So if you go to an event, it don't work or it don't turn out right, that don't mean you stop going to events.
Facts.
And if you got to travel, you got to travel. That's like the one brother that was there that handed us a flyer to an event in Maryville. Maryville ain't even an hour away from Chicago. So what's your excuse? What's your excuse?
Excuses only sound good to the people who making them. Literally.
Bars.
And it's until you actually understand that, you're going to keep making excuses. Because I remember when David hit brother, he was like, "Where have you been to for that to actually be true?" And like the dude, he paused and was like, "Man."
Yeah, make you think.
And I'm like, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, and when David was questioning, was just looking at him, and I'm like, "You only saying that because that's what you allowing yourself to see."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. But the thing is, what I really, the most impactful part, and let me get back to that, was the fact that I feel my mindset, as far as where I'm at now,
Mm-hmm.
is up there with David and Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that, obviously, the money, and then the fact that they have more experience,
Yeah, they've been at it longer.
a lot longer.
But you see what they see. You're just seeing it through a different lens.
Facts.
You know, y'all looking at the same picture. It's just y'all looking through different lens. They looking at it with an older, brighter, more experienced lens than yours.
Facts.
But like, y'all, you thinking the same thing. You see the goalposts. You see success. You see the end in mind. You see legacy. You see all these things. They just been at it longer, so they're closer
Facts.
to the vision.
Facts.
But like I said, the fact that you taking pictures with them, holding conversations with them, you wanted to ask questions a million times, that shows your growth, and that shows that, hey, I see what y'all see. We just looking at it through a different lens.
Yeah, I wanted to get some of these questions off to it, but it's like, I mean, I understand it because at the end of the day, they were still shooting a podcast,
Right.
And they have like this set way they want to run it. But man, I just had questions for every answer somebody had, or it was almost like it was an event I wanted to throw, or an event I was a part of, to where I could say something, give my piece or my opinion, or just something like share some information with
Well,
people.
it's coming. Like I said, you just did it on Tuesday, so it's coming. You just got to stay at it.
Facts.
So if anything, that should make you hungrier.
Oh,
That's
it
to say,
did.
okay, I'm in a room full of all these people, and I didn't get to give it my all, because that's how I feel right now. By the time in the night when I got tired, I was like, damn, I could have made a lot more connections, and it didn't even crossed my mind when they were talking about building a community. Had I not been in that fatigue state of mind, like Bass was talking about earlier, had I not been tired, I would have stood up and say, hey, they said let's make a community, let's make it right now. But I'm so tired. I'm worried about getting on the road. I'm worried about getting back to work. I wasn't in my element. Here's my revelation with that thought, right? That was on me. I shouldn't be in a position where I have to go to work the next day because of my talents, because of my gifts, how seasoned I am. I should have it to where I don't have to go to work the next day. My work should be my work, but I haven't went as hard as I can go. So that's on me. Because again, after it was over with, I could have made a community right there. Could have made plenty of connections right there. Set some up right there. So when we left, everybody knew who Die Fam was. But because I didn't put myself in the right position, I'm tired. I'm worried about getting on the road, going to work the next morning.
But you wouldn't know that unless, I mean, it just happened.
It just happened.
So now for the next one,
We on.
make community. But yeah, it definitely lit a fire in me because, like I told you the other day, I even hit tires. Hey, let's start sitting down, putting out an event.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, all right, we got to make an event. So like now, because I was thinking about this July has been so hectic, or not hectic, but I've been on the road, busy, just doing different things. That I was like, okay, I might need a break September. Man,
Ain't no breaks. No time for breaks.
man,
Ain't no time for breaks.
No time right now. So it's like I gotta stick to it, man. Just
Yeah.
like I can obviously I get my rest in between, but it's like I ain't got no time for breaks. I'm young right now. This is the best time. People need me.
Like David saying his apparel company was Sleepers for Suckers.
Facts.
And I heard Dame Dash say years ago, no, don't get me wrong, we all need our rest. But he was like, man, I'm asleep when I'm dead. He's like, I take naps. I don't go to sleep. I sleep when I'm dead. And that's hard. That's hard not to do. It's hard not to sleep. But that's the mentality you got to have when you know that time is of the essence.
Facts.
The time is now. NDO, no days off. And like I said, that definitely lit a fire under me. I've been posting, I've been reading. I went out this morning, got me a nice nature walk in. Usually like my thing's going to the gym in the morning. That's when I got a nature walk in, reflecting on what was going on and just ready to come to this podcast and pour into people.
Facts.
Yep. So it was
Yeah,
fire.
I've been thinking about this podcast ever since.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. It's just when you get into rooms that you know will impact you, or that it will pour into you.
Mm-hmm.
As you just come back with fire. Like and it don't even gotta necessarily be rooms. It could just be you expanding your horizons, viewing different things, being in different environments. Cause like even when I went to Hawaii a couple years ago, and I called you, man, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be able to like walk on mountains and see different mountains. Nipsey got a song called Ocean Views, and it's like when I listen to that song, it's like, man, I really imagine like going back to Hawaii. I see the ocean. Being in LA, you see the ocean. Being shoot on the beach at a Michigan beach, Michigan City
Michigan
Beach,
City Beach.
and you got a house on the beach, ocean view, like stuff like that, and it's like those could be the finer things in life, but you just got to work for it.
Got to work for it. Got to do the work. Got to do the work. So when Donnie, I'm sitting at the end of the table again. Donnie comes, sits down, and she's like, "What was your biggest takeaway?" And at that moment, again, tired, not thinking. At that moment, I was just like, I liked how y'all said that y'all never have anything to talk about, but then y'all flipped it on the audience when y'all start asking these questions, and then from there, that it just flowed.
Facts.
I thought about she tells a story about back in 2008 when the market crashed and all that, and financially she ended up in a hard state, and she said she ended up getting on food stamps. But then as she started making money, she said her friend told her, "Be careful, don't make too much money because they're going to take you off food stamps." Now, to a impoverished mindset, that sounds the right thing to do. Yeah, let me only make a little bit so I still get some aid. But Donnie was like, no, like the goal is to make as much money as possible.
Facts.
And then so she began to talk about, life and how prices are going up and so forth, so on. So when I went to the grocery store the other day, and she this the nugget she hit you with, but when I went to the grocery store the other day, I had 4 small bags from Kroger's, right? $45. $45 is out the gate. 4 small bags. I got um, some fruit, and I think some steak. $45. The issue is not that prices are going up. The issue is that we don't make enough money.
Facts.
You got to make more money. Period. That's the solution. Gas prices shoot up. Grocery prices shoot up. Real estate, rent, all that mortgages shooting up. That's not the problem. The problem is you don't make enough money. So you have to do things to add value to yourself so you can make more money. Are you living in your purpose? What are you truly passionate about? It's okay to work a 9 to 5, but there's also other ways to make money.
Facts.
So what are you doing? What are you going to do to change the narrative? That's the money is not the price is going up is not the problem. The problem is you don't make enough money. The solution is make more money. Yeah. So that was one of my other takeaways. Just make more money. That's it.
That's it. Cause I remember when gas prices shot up, ET practically said the same thing. He was like, gas prices went up, but what you gonna do? Not get gas? So now the real thing, the real solution is just make more money.
Just make more money.
But people were so hurt about that. But it's like he didn't say anything wrong.
No.
You got a problem with making more money now? Like, is that everybody talk about being rich, but then when you are rich or when you do get rich, you realize, okay, well now I got more money, so I got to put it towards these things. What's the problem? Like, that's what the point of getting rich is. That's the point of having money, to spend it.
Period.
That's all money is meant to be used for, spending it.
That's it.
Whether it's a trade as okay, money for gold, money for gas, money for oil, money for food. At the end of the day, it's a currency that has to be used. If it wasn't here to be used, then okay, cool. Now you just go to food, grab food, and walk out the store. But no, make more money. That's all it is.
The information is out there for people to do it. Like I said, you just got to switch your mindset. You got to switch from a impoverished mindset to a growth mindset. We all have limited beliefs. It just is what it is. Period. We all got limited beliefs. You have to switch your mindset. What do I really want in life? What am I willing to do to get it? That's it.
I'm looking for it right now. But when, what's his name? I think it was George who said it when he was like, you're closer to $1 million than you think. And then when he told us write $1 million down, and then and then write how much we made last year, and then subtract that, and then I forgot what the part that he put after, but I think he was like, and that's how much money you losing out, or that's how much money you're costing yourself right now by not following your dreams or adding more value. It was crazy how he put it, but
it was a nice flip.
Yeah, it was just real. Like, you don't get that every day.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, like you said, they feel like making money is hard, and it's not. You just have to, like you said, make yourself more valuable and put yourself in demand. That's it. That's all it is. Like, look at Base. Look at at Clark. These are things that are in demand. A lot of people want a podcast. So really, if Clark wanted to go out here and charge how much ever he wanted to for people to get a podcast, boom, this is how much it is. All right, boom, I'm putting my price on it. That's it.
Period.
And then
He knows his value. He knows his
literally.
worth.
And then if Bass want to do the same thing, he got high tech equipment. Boom, this is my price. You're not gonna tell me what to charge for my stuff. This is how much I feel like I'm valuable. And then boom, he lay that price out, take it or leave it. And a lot of people at first gonna take it, but then once they see the content that the people, or they gonna leave it. Once they see the content of people that did take it, dang, hey Bass, bro, let me get it. I'll accept the deal now. Nah, man, it's too late. Price went up. Cause that's literally how it is. I listened to Myron Golden, right? And he said he was charging a dude, what was it, $5,000, I believe, to coach him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was $5,000 each session, I believe. And the dude hit him back and was like, hey, I need to be coached on how to write or something like that. Or how to tell a story. And Myron Golden was like, okay, that'd be $40,000. Dude sent it right then.
Yeah.
And Myron was like, oh shoot, maybe I need to raise my prices.
Yeah. Because oftentimes we don't believe in our own value. You know, we believe, oh man, I got this price too high, or people don't think I'm worth that much. No, you got to know your worth.
Facts.
What are you experienced in? What are you good or great at? And put your price on it. And I definitely appreciate both of you brothers, man. Y'all content for us is immaculate. The things y'all do for other people, it's just off the scales, man. We definitely appreciate y'all. Y'all don't know how much y'all mean to the Die Fam, the Desires Everything podcast, and to our future, man. We appreciate y'all.
Facts.
Give y'all flowers.
Facts. But yeah, and then he ended up raising it, I believe, like to what, 25,000 after that. But then he raised it again, and like now when people ask him to come speak, and they hit him with some, I remember he said one person hit him with, we was just wanted you to get on stage for exposure for you. Myron said, I don't need y'all exposure.
Yeah,
I got exposure.
He the one doing the favor.
Yeah. And so he was like, he said they missed out on that opportunity, but that's the problem. Everybody want to limit themselves to what society limits them. And it's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to believe in you as much as you believe in you. So if you believe you worth this, cool. Stand on that. And if it take 10 years to get 5 customers, it take 10 years to get 5 customers. But then them 5 gonna turn into 50 once people see that it's actually working. And them 50 gonna turn into 100, and then 100 turn into 1,000, 1,000 turn into 1,000,000. That's all it is.
And then your quality of work speaks for itself.
Facts.
You know, when you've put in the leg work, when you've shown people that you really value them, it will pay off in the end. Your value will show up in your work. So like I said, but you got to stay dedicated, man. You got to put the work in. Another thing they was talking about was investing in yourself.
Facts.
This has been the year where I invest in myself, tens of thousands of dollars in my personal development, and it is showing in the way that I carry myself. It's showing the way I treat people. Cause I said right now it's all about who am I being in each moment. Some moments I am irritated or annoyed by people, but I always catch myself and ask myself the question: who should I have been in that moment? How could I have been better in that moment? Because life is definitely about showing people love. And like I said, we have these habits and patterns where we can, be mean to people, or we can, be short with people, show people our worst side. But I can definitely say when that does happen, I catch myself and ask myself, man, who was I being in that moment? And if I didn't like that, then I have to be convicted and I have to do better. Because being love, being compassionate, being patient with people, it's a beautiful thing. Because people will reciprocate that and they'll give it back to you. So like I said, invest in yourself. Whatever it takes financially for you to be the best version of you, you got to do it.
Facts.
And this is a year where I sacrificed that. But it's paying off. It's paying off because I can see it in the way I walk daily.
Facts. I believe it was Carter who said this, but he was like, when you pour your wallet into your mind will pour into your wallet.
Yep, it'll fill your wallet up. Go ahead. What you think about that?
It's facts.
Facts.
Because, like, look at my plumbing company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our boss, he sends us to different states to learn new things about the company, or to learn new things about the trades. He brings in mindset coaches just to help us with our mind, help us think positive and see the better things, and then gives us things to sell, tells us, all right, let's offer this for our customers because it's better for them. It's going to help them. But thing is, if he wasn't doing that, then he couldn't charge the prices that he was charging.
Mm-hmm.
The people wouldn't accept, well, I don't feel like your work is that quality or whatever, however they want to put it. But that would be true because we don't believe that ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But if we believe we putting in top tier work and we see the work and we see the investment that our boss is making not only into us but into the company, then we can charge what we charge.
Facts.
And people still gonna accept it because they seen the work that we've done before for not only them but their family, their friends, and then okay, boom. Well, yeah, we'll pay that. We'll sign off on that. But until people actually take the time to invest in themselves, they will never see that.
Facts. Yeah, I thought that was a very, very dope way to put a spin on investing in yourself. If you would say you feel your mind, if you use your wallet to fill your mind will fill up your wallet. I thought that was a dope way to put a spin on how to invest in yourself. What money, pay your bills, do your tithing, do your investments. But when you got some money left over, you have to put it into your mind. That's books, that's paying for coaching, that's paying for programs, that's going to events. You have to spend the money on educating yourself. Because in turn, you're adding value to yourself. And when you are valuable, people will treat you as such. People will pay you as such. So I thought it was a dope way to put it, a spin on investing in yourself by Carter.
Facts.
What else you got? Because we took about the same amount of notes.
Yeah, no, you was killing me, man. He was listening. I remember Carter was like, man, this dude killing those. His page already filled up. And I looked over, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's experience, boy. The years are taking them.
No, that was dope just seeing how many notes you took. That even inspired me. It was like, all right, bro, you just need to start writing down everything almost. And so I was like, okay, bet. Because at first, like, I was writing down stuff that, and I think this is like something I do, especially when I listen to like videos and podcasts, is that I'll write down stuff that resonates to me instead of just writing down almost everything or any information I can catch. And so when I write down the stuff that resonates me, I can always have the ability to go back and listen to it and then just keep listening to it and then picking up new things. But I don't know if I had that experience I don't know if I have that with this now.
Gotcha.
Like if I can go back and listen to it. Like I might be able to if they ever post it, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's a different experience when it's in person.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
and that's what I told Donnie. I was like, watching y'all on TV is dope. I said, but being in person and see y'all actually work, oh man, they cold, man.
Man, and that's the thing. I knew like David was good at holding a conversation and just being able to lead a conversation. But man, just seeing the way he held the conversation there and with all the people,
seasoned.
It's like, man, he cold.
He's seasoned. Yeah, that boy bad, man. Like I said, the camera does them no justice.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, bet. So as soon as I seen you say notes, all right, let me get to it. Boom, taking notes. And then back to when Donnie and David was questioning people, I wrote down FOMO, but I forgot exactly why. But I know.
Let me see. I thought I wrote it down too. I can't remember.
Something that like people struggle with is the fear of missing out. And so when it comes to events and people get discouraged about their first event having 2-3 people, and then it's like, okay, but if you keep doing it and you post the recaps, people are like, okay, boom, he threw an event. Well, I got to get to the next one just to see what it's talking about because that's all people do now. A lot of people, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people struggle from FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Definitely.
And it's because it looks good to them and they seen it on social media, but then when they actually get there, they don't know what it'll actually do to them. And so then that's when they're like, oh, well, man, I'm mad I missed the first one. It was right in front of your face.
Right there.
You seen me post it 10, 20 times. I was posting it for a week straight telling you pull up, but you didn't want to pull up. But now you see this recap and you seen how much fun we was having or the laughs, the giggles, the good times we was having. Now oh, man, I missed out. Well, I got to go to the next one. What if it ain't no next one?
Big facts. But like I said, people are stuck in their ways, complacency, laziness is so many different things why people see an event and be like, oh, yeah, I want to go to that. But then when it comes time, no, I ain't going. Like, what else you going to do? What else you going to do? Get to it. Let me see one of the things I took away. I had it. Where was it at? When we got the tie, I had it. Go ahead. Go to the next one.
Dang, I just had one. Oh, when he said The biggest risk in life is taking no risk at all.
Yeah, that's deep.
And to me, that's true because I hear a lot of like Damon, Tyrus, Jamal, Brendan talk about this all the time. But it's like, imagine getting to your deathbed, 87, 70, and you think back, dang, bro, I wish I would have did this.
Mm-hmm.
That's a risk. Like,
Yeah.
and now you living, you about to die, and you don't even feel even close to fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And like even this is a whole nother conversation for another day about the problem with being fulfilled. But just looking back and just having to be in regret.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't live with no regrets. Everything I'm doing, like I said, is intentional. And it's for a reason. And every time I do it, it's always a why or a sense of joy or fulfillment that I get from it. Like, what was the last event? The one on Take Care Tuesday.
Right.
Just doing that, being in the panel, and then being able to talk to people after. That fulfilled me.
Indeed.
Like, that's a message that I like, and I share my message, and then I share like stuff on social media, recaps. But being in front of people and just seeing people clap, shake their heads up and down, and then just being able to share my testimony, that's a fulfilling moment.
Yeah, because you're adding value to people.
Adding value. But I feel like I would be wrong if I was just sitting on my bed and questioning, why am I here each and every day? And then waiting till I'm 70 or 80 talking about, man, I wish I would have did that.
Yeah, you exist to serve, and that's what you was doing. You were serving people.
Yeah.
Because someone in that audience took something you said and took it to heart, and it added value to them and impacted their lives. And that's all life is about. We exist to serve. We were created to serve other people, however that looks. Oh, so they said one source of income is close to no source
at all.
I was like, wow. So basically what they were saying is it's okay to it's better to have multiple sources of income coming in because you never know when one source is going to be snatched from you.
Facts.
COVID proved that. How many people lost their jobs during COVID? I was blessed to not miss a day of work during COVID because I'm in the transportation industry. But how many people lost their jobs during COVID and struggled until they got some assistance? So that's why it's important to have multiple streams of income because you never know when you're going to lose one. Period. So that one I like the spin they put on that one. One source of income is close to no source at all.
No, that's facts. Because like you said, just relying on a company, and that company just can hit you one day, all right, you're fired. And then what you gonna do?
Then what?
And like a lot of people will put 30, 40 years into a company and just feel like they locked in. Okay, that's fine. But these young bucks coming up, they're going to look at you and they're going to look at them young bucks and realize who's making them more money. The ones who I can pay $15 an hour and I ain't got to worry about them calling out for having no injuries and they can just do it like this versus you who I'm having to pay $30 an hour and I've been having to pay you $30 an hour for some years and then you taking a lot longer to do your work. So of course you ain't got to come in today. Starts with, you ain't got to come in today. Or just start with small stuff. Oh, you can take a longer break. Because then they testing them young bucks out. Cool. See if you can do this. And then they come and do it.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, you in trouble.
Yeah. And what people don't realize is we are liabilities to companies, not assets. True enough, companies need employees. They just don't necessarily need us. If we fulfill a certain position for them right now, a certain role for them, it's all good. But as soon as they find out, can figure out how to cut you loose, or like I said, how to make you, how to make more money without you, look at how they're using machines and AI now, then you're going to get cut loose. You're a liability, not an asset. So a lot of people don't really get that. That's why it's so important to have more sources of income than one. Because as soon as a company figure out how to make this computer do your job,
man,
it's a wrap. Man, it's probably about 5-6 years ago now when I first walked into I used to do my meetings at a McDonald's on 38th and High School Road, on 38th and 465. And the first time I walked in there and saw that they had the machine that's away from the counter, you can go put your order in the machine. It's a wrap. And it was so funny because they had the employee standing next to the machine to help people. And I'm looking at this employee like, you don't even realize that's your replacement. That's your replacement. But they got you standing next to the machine to help people with it because it's new. But the minute they figure out where all the customers forgot to use this without you,
Man,
that's one less person. That's one less job.
so they even got, don't they got a where is it? They got a Taco Bell that's ran strictly off of AI or
Strictly off AI.
robots, whatever. And then I think it's a couple McDonald's, if not one McDonald's, that's doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it might just be only drive-through too or something.
Yeah, one of them two.
Yeah, or it's either only drive-through or it's only walk-up. When you walk up, put your order in, all the computers in there, fix your order, and give it out to you in a bag.
Which is
everything.
crazy.
And that's just like with Walmart. The one in Plainfield, first one I saw with it, where they took all the registers out.
Man,
The one in Plainfield, they took all the registers out, and they're all walk-up now. But let me take that. They took all the cashiers out. All their registers now are all the U-scans in Plainfield. They don't. If they have, I think the only ones they have that are not is the ones where it's like an alcohol lane. But other than that, if they got 30 registers, 28 of them are U-scan. They only got 2 where actual people can work at them.
yeah, which I honestly don't understand. I mean, cause say
What you don't understand?
no, I get it. It saves them money for sure. But if something like you said, if something mess up, then now you're gonna have to go back to that person. But I mean,
Go back to what person?
the person who knew how to use it. But I mean, like I said, I get it. But just thinking about the fact that if it mess up, then I don't mess with robots to begin with. Like, because if anything, if them boys come and take over, it's cooked.
It's a wrap.
It's cooked.
But that's the thing. Companies don't care about that part.
No,
of it.
they don't.
It's all about profit margin.
Facts.
Okay, this year we only made 2 billion. We've been making 5, 6, 10 billion. Okay, so how can we increase our profit margin? If we get rid of 200,000 employees and put in 100,000 registers, there's our 5 billion that we lost.
It might hurt us now, but it's gonna help us in the future.
Man, they all about that bread.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
that's all they care about. But then it's like the ESPN thing. Like y'all fire all these anchors who've been bringing y'all these views,
Mm-hmm.
but because y'all messed up on a couple shows, now they got to pay the price. But the crazy thing is, the ones they fired are the ones who was bringing them views.
It's business.
It's like
It's the American way. It's business.
And
And
it's like-
people and if people don't ever get that and understand that, they'll be at the bottom of the totem pole because they're too emotionally attached to the job.
Man.
You know, we all have a purpose. We all are made to serve.
Facts.
So you need to figure out how can I serve, and then if I can get paid for it, great. Why wouldn't I not get paid for something that I love to do? Because we all have to eat.
Facts.
So don't take it personal. Just add value to yourself. Figure out how can I make myself more valuable.
That's all it is.
That's all it
And
is.
even then, say you do add value to yourself and you love this job. That job could see it and be like, all right, boom, let's give you, like you said, that raise or that promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just complacent with being a secretary, when you can really be a CFO or you can really be taking the CFO's assistant,
Mm-hmm.
but because you didn't add value into yourself and you didn't learn how to create communication with people and learn the art of communication and different things and skills up under your belt, you would never be the assistant to the CFO or the CEO. And so now you just, okay, well, let me pick up this phone. Hey, yep, he can schedule a meeting for 9 a.m. That's all it is. Them 2-second conversations. But really, when you need no, he doesn't like this. I know he doesn't do this, that, and the third. Boom. Now you under the CEO. And you making the big bread. But when you limit yourself to where you at instead of where you can be,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll be there forever.
Ownership is key.
Sound like a bar, I ain't gonna lie.
No.
That was off the dome. That was off the dome. Man.
Ownership is key.
I don't know what else.
Like I said, I just recapping. If you haven't had the chance to watch the Melanin Money podcast, I keep messing up. The Melanin Money podcast or the Social Proof podcast, that's the first thing I would encourage you to do.
Facts.
Check them out. David Shands and Donnie. I never always forget Donnie's last name.
Wiggins, I think it is.
What is
Donnie Wiggins.
Donnie Wiggins, and then you have what's Carter and George's last name?
Cofield and I don't know George's.
Carter Cofield, because that was my first time ever seeing George.
Yeah.
I know I've seen Carter do an event with another brother, but that was my first time seeing George.
Right.
George is dope as hell too.
Yeah.
But if you haven't had a chance to see them, Social Proof Podcast, Melanin Money Podcast, thing I would do is encourage you to watch them, follow them all on social media because their content is fire. They give you a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot of wisdom, and like I said, they're not old or anything. You can tell they are fairly young. I think maybe David might be around my age. Who knows? But just dope, man. But that's the first thing I'll do. Encourage you to follow them on social media. Watch a couple of their podcast episodes. But then, like I said, man, start figuring out what it is that you love to do yourself.
Man.
Because they clearly were passionate about what they do. And it flowed through their presentation, it flowed through the night when they were interacting with everybody. Like we were all having a great time. It's not like they came, did the show, and got up out of there. They stayed. Well, I know David and Donnie left after midnight because they left right around the same time we did. Because I'm quite sure they probably had to follow back to Atlanta or go to the next scene. But Carter was still there, George still there. Like they flew people in with them. Like it was an event. It was a party. It was a great time. So find what you're passionate about. Figure out what your purpose is. And if you don't know how to do that, send me a DM. I help you find that. Because when I get on the phone with people, first thing I'm trying to figure out, who are you? What are you passionate about? And what's your purpose? If you don't know your purpose, then I help them work on a purpose statement. Because until you really realize that, you'll never be able to find the things, and you'll never really do the things in life that you really enjoy because you don't have a clue of what you truly desire, what your purpose is. So figure out those two things. What are you passionate about? What is your purpose? And then put a plan in place to start doing those things. Because that's when true joy and fulfillment comes in. When you have a plan and you start following that plan. That'd be my advice for anyone.
My advice for somebody, well, definitely for the Social Proof Podcast, I'm gonna get into Melanin Money, like you said. I've seen Carter before. That was my first time seeing George. But for Social Proof, check out the Wall Street Trapper episode. That's definitely one of the most informative episodes I've ever listened to with them. Still, the part that stuck with me the most was when Wall Street Trapper said a podcast shouldn't be an interview, even though it shouldn't be an interview, and everything should just be off of the art of communication, And I remember, because I asked David the same questions, so I listened to the episode, give me some tips on how to, be better at communicating, how to communicate better when it comes to being on podcasts. And he said, just be curious. Mm-hmm. Just be curious about the person you're interviewing or you're even talking to. And so that's definitely something that I took away. But something that has been resonating in my mind for the past couple months is, and my father says this all the time, is your network is your net worth. Until you start surrounding yourself around people who are like-minded or who are doing better than you, then you will always be stuck in your ways. A lot of people claim they want the riches, claim they want a better lifestyle for those around them, but they're still hanging around the people who are negative, who aren't doing anything for themselves, who simply don't want you to be better. So surround yourself around people who are willing to push you, who are willing to have those uncomfortable conversations. And your dreams, your aspirations, your goals will start coming to light because you'll always be putting yourself in the right environment at that point of time. But your network is your net worth. That's all I got.
I love it. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in once again to the Desire is Everything podcast. I'm your host, Sam Wright, with my co-host, Jason Wright, and we would like to leave y'all with this. Desire is everything.
Die.